Great news, gang. I just got a new job. You see, I'm actually all set up here with this Ruby on Rails project for my new job. I have all of my gems and dependencies installed, so let's go ahead and run my tests. Run bundle exec rspec and oh, I'm seeing errors. What is this? I don't have Postgres set up? Man, that's gonna take forever. I guess I might as well quit my job.
Hold on!
Whoa!
You don't have to quit your job.
Who are you?
I'm you, but from the future.
Oh, yeah, you look just like me.
Well, yeah, of course I would look like you. I am you, just from the future, like I said.
Oh, right.
Listen, you don't have to manage your dependencies locally in test. You can use something like test containers.
Test containers, huh? I guess I could look into that.
Okay, great. Use test containers. I have to go save my family from my OpenClaw installation. It's going crazy.
OpenClaw? I've never heard of that. You mean, wait, ClaudeBot?
No, it's called OpenClaw now. They changed the name a couple of times. You'll figure it out. Use test containers.
Oh, okay. Good luck. Let's talk about test containers. Whew. Oh, man. So it's been a couple of days. It turns out I decided to help future me with their OpenClaw installation, and it was crazy. It's a subject for another video, and to be honest, I don't think I want to talk about it. But anyways, let's save current me's job by installing and learning about test containers in this Ruby on Rails project. But first of all, what are test containers? Well, test containers is an open source library for providing throwaway, lightweight instances of things like databases, Redis, web browsers, anything that can fit in a Docker container. Now, if you don't know much about Docker, don't worry, we have other videos on Docker on this channel, including an intro to Docker. So go check that one out and then come back here. So basically, when I want to spin up a test container, I can click on this Ruby example here because I'm using a Ruby on Rails app for my new job. I can see down here if I want to start a Redis test container, it is just test containers, docker container.new, and I call with exposed port. Now this is pretty great syntax, but it can get even better than that. You see, test containers also have something called modules. Now, modules provide basically syntactical sugar on top of test containers to make it even easier to create the test containers that you want. Now, you can see this syntactical sugar in action here. If I search for something like, say, Redis, and I click on Python, I can see that this is a lot more simple than spinning up a raw Docker test container using Python. Let me just go back to the Python example here, and I'll show you what I mean. If I click on Python, we can see that this Redis incantation is actually a little bit more complicated, so modules are the way to go if you have them available. Now, one thing I noticed that in the modules section of this website, I don't see any examples for Ruby. However, if I go to the Ruby GitHub repository, I can actually see that there are modules in the Ruby GitHub repository. So if you're on a Ruby on Rails app, the way I am, there are modules for test containers for Ruby. They're not on the website, at least not yet, but they show up in this repository, and that's what I'm going to use for the examples I'm going to show you today. Now, if you remember from earlier in the video, if I run my specs, total exec spec, in this new project, I get a ton of failures basically saying that Postgres is unavailable. Now, instead of installing Postgres locally and potentially running into issues with a different version of Postgres locally than on CI or in production, I can use a test container. So let's go ahead and install the test containers Postgres gem, which is the module in Ruby for test containers for Postgres, and set it up for my project. I can go to the repo here, click on Postgres, and I see I have a nice little thing I can copy and paste into my gem file. So let's go ahead and do that. I can go back to my project, open up NeoVim, go to my gem file, and somewhere down here, I will just paste what they have for Postgres. In my test group, I have test containers Postgres. Great. So now I can run bundle install, and everything is installed. I now have test containers Postgres. Awesome. Now, with a lot of Ruby on Rails projects, especially ones that use rspec, we actually have a file called Rails helper, and we can see in this file, we actually include every file under the spec support directory. So let's create a new file under spec support so that we can put all of our test container information into it. Let's create a new file, spec support test_containers.rb. That seems good. So in this new file, I'm going to create a new module called test containers. This is going to allow me to reference test containers throughout my configuration. And I'll explain that as we go along. In this module, I'm going to define an adder accessor for Postgres. This gives me the ability to type testcontainers.postgres, and then what I can do is I can instantiate a new container in this module and then talk to it from outside of the scope. So let me explain. What we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to configure our spec, and inside of this configuration block, before our test suite runs, we're going to want to create a new test container for Postgres. We can actually see here that the syntax for that is test containers postgres container.new. And so what we can do is in our file, we create a new Postgres test container and we assign it to the Postgres attribute on our test containers module. This allows us to reference it elsewhere throughout this configuration. And what we're going to do here is use Postgres version 16. Next, what we want to do is actually start our Postgres container. And then we're going to want to do a couple of configuration things. We want to make sure that Active Record is actually talking to our Postgres container as its database. And we want to run our migrations before our suite. So let's save this file. And then I want to open up Docker so I can see what's going on here when I run my tests. So now let's run bundle exec rspec. And we should see a new container spin up. And yep, there it is. That's our Postgres container. It runs our migrations and then it runs our specs. And let's see here. We still have some failures. Oh, it looks like we don't have Redis running. Well, that's okay. We can actually accomplish this by using the Redis test container. But first, I actually noticed something. We can see here that our Docker container for Postgres is still running even though our test suite ran, which means that every time we run a new test suite, we spin up a new Postgres container and the old one is still running. See, I don't like that. So what we're going to have to do here is configure our spec to actually delete and stop our Postgres container. This is why we use that module up above, is so that we can reference it later in this configuration. So after suite in our rspec configuration, we want to stop our Postgres container and remove it. So now let's write this file and we can go over to Docker. We can stop this container and stop this container, delete it. And if I write this file and run bundle exec rspec, we should see that we spin up our container, and when this test suite is done, our container is now done. Awesome. We now have a lightweight, throwawayable container for Postgres to run whenever we run our specs. Nice. But of course, we see that we still have errors for Redis not running. So let's solve this with test containers. In the repository, we actually see here that we have a Redis test container, and we have some documentation on what to do here. So let's copy and paste this gem line into our gem file. Let's go to gem file. We can go down to our test group that we made before, and we just paste test container Redis. Awesome. So now we can run bundle install. And now Redis for test containers is installed in our gems. So now let's go ahead and use Redis as another test container to run alongside Postgres. What we want to do is add another adder accessor that will allow us to access the Redis attribute on this module. Then we're going to want to go ahead and create a new Redis test container. That's pretty simple. It's very much the same as how we do it in Postgres. Test containers, Redis container.new, and we're using Redis 7 for this. Now, a lot of people will be using Vulkan now. That's probably what you should be using because Redis had this whole open source, closed source issue earlier this year. But for now, let's just assume that this project uses Redis. We're also going to want to start our test container before the suite, and we're going to want to do a couple more configurations for Rails. We want to make sure that Rails is using this new Redis instance in test by making sure that the Redis constant in our application is pointed at the URL for our new Redis test container. Also, we want to make sure that our application cache store is this Redis cache store with that URL, and we want to make sure that our lookup store is also set to the same thing. We also want to make sure that we stop and remove our Redis test container just like our Postgres one. So in our after suite, we want to make sure we call redis.stop and redis.remove. Now, if we write this file and then run our whole entire test suite, we can see that, actually, let's pull up Docker as well here. We can see that Docker runs two containers. That actually went really fast, and then it deleted them. So let's run it one more time. We see we spin up Postgres, then we spin up Redis, and then we run all of our specs, and then everything gets thrown away. This is incredible. But you see, there's one more thing I want to talk about with test containers. Test containers are amazing to use in CI, and they're amazing to use locally because you can actually point your versions of your local dependencies to whatever is in production. So let's just say that locally I had Redis 5 installed. I can actually change this to use Redis 5 for my test container instead of Redis 7. What would happen if I had a version mismatch? This is one one of the best reasons to use test containers, at least locally. Now, if we had a version mismatch between our local instance of Redis and what we use in production and in CI, it's possible that there are APIs or functionalities on CI or in production that we don't actually have locally. Now we can change our versions of Redis in our test containers to make sure that we match what we have. But if locally we didn't have the right setup, this is something that could happen to you. Let's actually open up a new pane and we can run bundle exec rspec spec. If we run all our specs, we can see that we actually have a failure. This failure is in the lmpop spec. If we scroll down, we can see that we're actually using a new feature of Redis in Redis 7 called lmpop, but that's not available in Redis 5. So that's something that could happen to you, and you can get bit if you're using the wrong versions of things on your local machine versus CI or production. So now if we update our version of Redis to Redis 7 and we run our suite again, we can see that all of our specs pass as they did before. Now, this is extremely powerful. I love test containers. They're very lightweight, very straightforward, pretty easy to use, and they're amazing. Don't get caught using the wrong dependencies locally as opposed to what's on CI or in production, again, because you can use test containers to manage this for yourself. Subscribe to this channel for more Docker, Vim, Bash, and Linux stuff. And hey, thanks, nerds.